In November 2025, a portrait of a young woman in a shimmering golden robe sold for $236 million. The most expensive modern painting ever sold at auction. But the price is not the strange part. The strange part is that the woman in this painting only survived the Nazis by telling a monstrous lie about the man who made her. This is the story of Gustav Klimt's portrait of Elisabeth Lederer. So how does a single painting become worth $250 million, and what did it cost the woman inside it? To understand this portrait, you have to understand the family who owned it. In early 20th century Vienna, August and Serena Lederer were Klimt's most important patrons. They assembled the largest private collection of his work on earth, and Klimt was almost a member of the household. He taught their daughter, Elisabeth, to draw. Between 1914 and 1916, he painted her. She stands tall and serene, wrapped in the colors of an imperial Chinese dragon robe that rises behind her like a throne. It is one of the last great society portraits he ever made. Klimt died in 1918. And here we need one uncomfortable detail, because it matters later. Klimt was a famous womanizer. When he died, more than a dozen people came forward claiming to be his children, and at least 6 were officially recognized. He left behind not just paintings, but a tangle of rumored bloodlines all across Vienna. Remember that. It becomes the hinge of this entire story. For 20 years, the Lederer collection was the crown jewel of Viennese art. Then, in 1938, Nazi Germany annexed Austria, and the Lederers were Jewish. Almost overnight, one of the richest families in the country became prey. Their property was seized. The family scattered into exile, and their extraordinary art collection was looted by the state. But here the Nazis did something revealing. They took the Klimt landscapes and the allegories, the works they could sell or hang. But the family portraits, the paintings of actual Jewish faces, they mostly left behind. To them, a portrait of a Jewish woman was too Jewish to be worth stealing. The very thing that made Elisabeth a target is what left her portrait in place. Elisabeth herself made a stunning choice. She did not flee. She stayed in Vienna, inside a regime that wanted her erased. And to survive, she reached for the most desperate lie imaginable. She petitioned the Nazi authorities with a claim that her real father was not August Lederer, the Jewish industrialist. Her real father, she said, was Gustav Klimt. Klimt was not Jewish. Klimt had been dead since 1918 and could neither confirm nor deny it. And Klimt, everyone knew, had fathered children all over Vienna and had been intimately close to her family for years. Under the regime's own insane race laws, being the daughter of an Aryan artist could reclassify her and save her life. To make it stick, she needed proof and a witness. The proof was the closeness itself, a lifetime of Klimt inside the Lederer home. And the witness, according to the accounts, was her own mother, Serena, who is said to have supported the story before the authorities. A mother committing perjury to unmake her own marriage, on paper, to keep her daughter alive. We should be careful here. There is no real evidence Klimt was Elisabeth's father. Historians treat it as what Sotheby's itself called a life-saving fiction. But it worked. Elisabeth was left alone. She was never deported. She did not survive the war by much. Elisabeth died of illness in Vienna in October 1944 and was buried in Hietzing Cemetery, the same ground where Gustav Klimt himself lies. The lie she told to live had, in a sense, become permanent. And then came the cruelest twist of all, aimed not at her, but at the art. As the war collapsed in May 1945, most of the looted Lederer Klimts had been stored for safekeeping in a castle north of Vienna, Schloss Immendorf. In the final days, the castle burned. As many as 15 or 16 Klimts were destroyed in a single night, including his monumental faculty paintings, works that exist today only in black and white photographs. Who set the fire is still argued over. That it happened is not. Elisabeth's portrait was not in that castle. It survived. After the war, it was slowly, painfully restituted, returning to her brother Erich Lederer in 1948. And decades later, it found the man who would make it famous again. In 1985, the American collector Leonard Lauder, heir to the Estée Lauder fortune, bought the portrait. He hung it where he ate and reportedly had lunch beside Elisabeth Lederer nearly every day for 40 years. When Lauder died in the summer of 2025, at 92, his collection came to market. On the 18th of November 2025, the portrait went under the hammer at Sotheby's in New York. Bidding opened at $130 million and climbed for 20 minutes between two anonymous buyers on the telephone. It hammered at $205 million. With fees, $236.4 million. That made it the most expensive work of modern art ever sold at auction and the second most expensive artwork of any kind ever to cross the block, behind only Leonardo's Salvator Mundi. The buyer's name has never been released. There are reports it went to Abu Dhabi, but officially no one will say who now owns her. So think about what that number really contains. It is not just paint and gold. It is a daughter's desperate lie, a mother's perjury, and the strange mercy of a monstrous regime that spared one painting because it found the face inside it beneath contempt. $250 million for a portrait that only exists today because the woman in it convinced her killers she belonged to someone else. So here is the question. When we pay a fortune for a painting like this, what are we really buying, the art or the story that clung to it? Tell me in the comments. If you want the one painting that sold for even more, the Leonardo that beat this record, watch our video on the Salvator Mundi next. And if you like art history with the human story left in, subscribe. We do this every day. Until next time.